Thank you to today's sponsor, Science on Call, 24/7 technical support for all your restaurant needs. Perhaps you have opened a new pizza restaurant that uses top-secret technology to allow you to serve pizzas that are both hot and ready. The secrets behind this technology should be protected at all costs, which makes your employee onboarding and offboarding process quite complicated. Forget the hassles of onboarding and offboarding with help from Science on Call. You no longer have to worry about who still has access to corporate email and who has or has not signed your draconian non-disclosure agreements, and can instead devote that time to oiling the robots that make your pizzas hot and ready. For all your restaurant technical support needs, Science on Call is just a click, a tap, a text, or a scan away. Visit scienceoncall.com/pizza to book a demonstration now. Welcome to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program, or IJP, where I ask the question, whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? A proud part of the Panoply Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Pizzaply Media. I'm your host, Brian Thompson, investigative journalist. As the great journalist Walter Cronkite once said, trust is not earned by never making a mistake, it is earned by addressing the mistakes that are made. Mr. Cronkite made this statement in the aftermath of his incorrectly reporting that there is no safer way for a president to travel through Dallas, Texas, than in a convertible. Like my mentor, Mr. Cronkite, I too know the value in admitting when I am wrong. For quite some time, I maintained that the McPizza was not the same menu item as original recipe McDonald's pizza, and was instead a Hot Pocket-esque pizza-flavored hand pie. This is correct, but it is not the whole truth. For a brief period in the late 1980s, some McDonald's locations experimented with another item called the McPizza, which was a small, oval-shaped pizza served in a paper sleeve. To avoid confusion, I choose to continue to ignore the existence of this oval-shaped McPizza in almost all of my public statements. But I know it existed, and I am humble enough to admit that. This is one of the reasons I am consistently voted one of the most trusted journalists in the world, according to some online polls, behind only Lester Holt of NBC News, Christiane Amanpour of CNN, Maria Menounos of Nuvi, and Chester Trunk of Gas Station TV News, among some others. So it behooves me to admit that on last week's program I made some statements which, upon further investigation into the facts, and upon receipt of a quite powerfully worded letter from Kentucky Fried Chicken's legal counsel, I now know to be on the false side of true. First among these statements is my understandable understanding that Colonel Sanders, the founder and mascot of KFC, was an officer in the army of the racist traitors, the Confederate States of America. This is false. Colonel Sanders was not born until the year 1890, well after the Confederacy's humiliating defeat. In fact, Colonel Sanders did not earn his colonelcy through military service at all. Instead, he was bestowed the honor of Kentucky colonelship in the year 1935 by the state's governor, Mr. Ruby Laffoon. It is the state of Kentucky's highest honor, but in no way does it grant the honoree the right to command soldiers in either peacetime or in a brutal campaign of hateful slaughter. I regret my error in claiming Colonel Sanders was a member of the Confederacy. And I would like to state clearly and for the record that when it comes to the question of whether or not he was a vile racist, all I can honestly say is that he may or may not have been. Second, and perhaps most important among my errors, is in regards to the new KFC menu item called the Chizza. I stated that this item, which consists of a fried chicken fillet topped with pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, and pepperonis, is not, in fact, a pizza. I stand by this statement. As I stated in last week's statement, my statement on the matter is this: the defining ingredient of pizza is crust. This provoked a bit of discussion on the Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's Discord among certain patrons of this program, so I will take a moment to clarify further. While crust is the defining ingredient of pizza, a food is not pizza simply because it contains crust. For example, pumpkin pie is not pizza. Neither, of course, is a loaf of bread. But other pizza ingredients are not pizza until they are combined with crust. For example, a crust with pizza sauce and no cheese is simply a cheeseless pizza, and a crust with only mozzarella is a sauceless pizza, and so on. By contrast, some pizza sauce and cheese on top of no crust is not pizza at all. It is simply a big mess. So, Chizza is not pizza, regardless of the fact that its name is a combination of the words chicken and pizza. But other statements I made regarding the Chizza are less based in fact, specifically my statement that anyone who takes even a single bite of a Chizza would necessarily be induced to regurgitate the contents of their stomach via a biological process known as upchucking. Last weekend, I found myself on the Lower East Side of the island of Manhattan Island attending a seminar on a literary form called flash fiction. I assumed flash fiction meant psychological thrillers about the twisted minds of those who can't help but show the public what little they are wearing beneath their trench coats. But it turns out flash fiction is simply fiction that is very short. As this was thoroughly explained within 3 minutes of the seminar beginning, I decided to leave early. Coincidentally, I happened to be in the same neighborhood as the KFC restaurant that had been temporarily remodeled into something called the Chizzeria. Longtime listeners will remember last week's episode, where I explained the Chizzeria would be serving free Chizzas throughout the opening weekend of this horrible menu item. You will also remember that I was unsuccessful in my attempt to purchase airsick bags for those poor souls foolish enough to try the Chizza and suffer the inevitable upchuckery. But my journalist's curiosity got the better of my common sense, and I approached the Chizzeria anyway, thinking at the very least that I might be able to wade through the vomit fast enough to swat a Chizza out of a customer's hand before it reached their mouth. But I was shocked to discover the Chizzeria, while not completely unsurrounded by vomit, was only surrounded by the normal amount of vomit one might expect from a business on the island of Manhattan Island. What's more, the aroma of the Chizzas proved to be somewhat irresistible. As a student of evolutionary psychology, I understand there are certain actions hardwired into our reptilian brains from the days of prehistory. For example, when we feel in danger, our muscles tense as if we are preparing to run from a predator in the wilds of our ancestors. And this is also why all humans now are very hesitant to eat an apple if it is offered by a talking snake. I can only assume that some animal instinct is what forced me into taking a free Chizza, biting off a hunk, chewing, and swallowing before I even had time to prepare my guts for the upcoming upchucking. To my utter shock, the Chizza turned out to be somewhat delicious. The chicken was juicy and flavorful, the breading contained all 7 of the racist colonel's secret herbs and spices, the pizza sauce tasted of real tomato, the mozzarella was nice and rubbery, and the pepperonis on top barely tasted like the sludge of snouts and hooves from which pepperonis are typically made. Was it pretty good for the price? Well, considering it was free, I have to say yes. If I were forced to pay the full asking price, which research shows me is up to $12 depending on region, I would of course revise this assessment. Still, the fact remains that upon consuming the Chizza, the contents of my guts remained within their confines. In fact, with each deposit of a swallow of masticated Chizza bites, my guts became even more populated. What's more, a quick unscientific survey of my fellow customers revealed that none of them experienced any vomiting upon consumption of the Chizza. Or at least, they did not vomit because of any qualities inherent to the Chizza. One rather gaunt-looking person simply had a severe eating disorder. So, to the Kentucky Fried Chicken Corporation, I would like to extend this Mea Culpa, which is Latin for my bad. And just to make sure I find no more letters from their legal counsel in my electronic mailbox, I decided to make my apology official.
Thank you for calling KFC. For English, please press 1. For Spanish, please press 2. To hear our better, please listen carefully, as our menu options have recently changed. To speak with an agent about a recent visit, press 1. If you are calling about an order, thank you for calling KFC Customer Care. My name is Ed. How may I help you today?
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. Maybe you've heard of me.
Okay, okay.
Is that a yes, or you have heard of me, or we're not?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
I was just wondering if you had heard of me. I'm an investigative journalist.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes? May I ask what seems to be the problem, please?
Oh, certainly, yes. Well, I called for two reasons. Actually, now I have three reasons. Just before I ask my first question, the hold music that I was just hearing, was that the Beatles, do you know?
May you repeat that for me, please?
The hold music that I was just hearing, do you know if that was the band The Beatles?
I didn't hear any.
Oh, okay. I guess you don't know what the hold music is. That's fine. Well, my first statement is not really a question and more of a statement. It's a statement of apology. I publicly insinuated, about a week ago, that the new KFC menu item, the Chizza, are you familiar with the Chizza?
Yes.
I insinuated that a consumer could not consume the Chizza without immediately vomiting. And I just wanted to call and apologize for having said that publicly, because the other day I did go down to my local Chizzeria and I tried the Chizza and I did not immediately vomit. I spit up a little bit a short time after that I consumed the Chizza, but that was probably just because I didn't chew very much.
Okay.
And then my second statement of apology is I would like to apologize because I also implied that Colonel Sanders was a Confederate colonel in the Confederate States of America Army. And I now know that he was born in 1890, which was sometime after the American Civil War. So if anyone in his family was a racist and brutal Confederate colonel, I guess it would have had to have been his father.
Okay.
And those are all of my statements. Are you going to pass this along to the legal team at Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, Brian, I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put the phone closer to my mouth. Can you hear her now? Is this better? Sorry, that was a bit too close.
Okay.
Is this better?
Yes, please.
Those were all of my statements of apology. And I was wondering if you were going to pass along this information to the Kentucky Fried Chicken legal team so that I am metaphorically in the clear as far as any sort of libel suits or...
Okay, in that case, I will file this report to our upper management team.
Okay, perfect. That's wonderful. And it is Brian Thompson, the investigative journalist.
Okay, just a moment, please.
Certainly.
And also, Brian, is there a particular restaurant that you visit regarding this issue?
Yes, I visited the Chizzeria on the Lower East Side of the island of Manhattan Island in New York, United States, New York.
Okay, may I ask the store zip code, please?
I did not ask their zip code. I am not in the habit of asking the zip code of the restaurants that I frequent.
Okay. I perfectly understand you for that.
Thank you.
And also, is it possible that you can provide me your email address, please?
Oh, sure. That is possible. It is brian@gmail.com. That's B as in Brian, R as in Ryan, I as in Ian, A as in Ann, N. @gmail.com.
Okay, thank you for this information. And also, may I have your phone number, please?
That I would prefer not to give out.
Okay, I perfectly understand you for this.
Thank you. I've been receiving a lot of, I guess they're called spam phone calls lately. People asking if I'm the primary homeowner, and I do not even own a home, much less.
Okay. In this case, Brian, what I'm going to do here is I am going to file this case to our upper management team, okay, regarding this issue.
Now, does the upper management team include the colonel himself?
Check your emails because someone will contact you back for further assistance regarding this issue, okay?
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so is there anything else that I can help you with aside from this?
I don't think so.
Okay. Again, thank you for calling KFC Customer Care. My name is Ed. We are looking forward seeing you back soon. Bye for now and have a great day.
Ciao. That means goodbye in Italian. Thought it was just a little tribute to the Chizza.
Bye.
Okay, goodbye.
You can drop the call now.
Oh, you're waiting for me to hang up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye now. My telephone seems to be frozen. It's really more of a pocket computer, but the screen, the touch screen is cracked.
Brian?
My fingers were greasy the other day. I dropped it, and the hang up button isn't working.
Okay, Brian. I'm disconnecting the call now. Bye.
Okay, goodbye. Do you know what happened to pizza at McDonald's? Do you remember it? Please send all correspondence to pizza@mcdonalds@gmail.com. To support the show, please join my Patreon at patreon.com/pizza@mcd's for exclusive benefits. And for more information, including links to social media, merchandise opportunities, etc., visit pizza@mcdonalds.com. Thank you to my invaluable Patreon producers: Bipolar Biped, Grant Bacon, Jacob Ford, Joe Kajik, Kimberly King, Andy McH, Kyle Turok, Pam Gabriel, Polly Egan, Thomas Young, Trisha Yates, Will, Adam Crump, Andrew Duffy, Andrew Ahmed Rubin, Billy Jean, Brad Allen Thompson, Creighton Barrow, Dan Dreyer, Jeffrey Francis Sylvia, Jay Poop, Calvin Thomas, Laurel Paul, Opus Moreski, Paul Fu, and Ryan Guggenmoss and Ryan Guggenmoss. I'm Brian Thompson, investigative journalist.